Hello survivors and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to be looking at Cole, who is a new promo character, and we're going to look at the 5-star art first. I like the shorts, I like the hat. I think that's a pineapple on his hat. I think it's keeping to that theme we saw with one of the Ezekiels where he had pineapples. I think it was the season store Zeke. And I like it a lot. Unfortunately he loses both of these on the 6-star, where I don't like the sandals though. Get rid of no sandals in the apocalypse. He loses the pineapple hat and his shorts become his shirt in terms of the pattern, which is a shame. He does upgrade his sandals to boots. Well done, son. But other than that, I'm disappointed. I like the shorts quite a lot. He's classified as a tank. He has got 1,617 attack, 1,617 defense, so obviously identical, which is kind of strange for a tank, but he has a massive amount of HP, 2,157. He is keeping in line with the new stat boost that's basically come along with Camilla. So he is like basically a generation 2 6-star. And we're going to look at his rush, which is called Derision and Diminish. Deal 325% damage to one enemy. I prefer this. I like this. Just basically because that percentage is generally going to be reduced if it's to more than one enemy. The overall damage output might be higher, but one target damage is generally better, especially if you want to kill. Like on defense teams it works better, on attack teams it's just nicer to eliminate someone, unless you've got someone who debuffs. But this guy does debuff, but now he can debuff behind Guardian 2 shields, because up to 3 enemies get taunt and minus 50% attack for one turn. If he did a 3-character attack and there was a Guardian 2 shield on any of those characters, they would not receive that second part of the rush there. So it's actually better that it's a single target rush. If you attack one character that doesn't have a Guardian shield and the rest have Guardian shields, they'll still get taunted and they'll still get attacked down, which is actually really great. Now the last part of this rush is the only downside of this rush pretty much. This character and one teammate get Pain Split for 2 turns. I don't think Pain Split works very well, personally. I don't like Pain Split. There's just too big a downside to it in terms of one of the characters taking trait damage means both of the characters taking trait damage. I think that it would be better if Pain Split gave both characters the defense of the highest character, and that way the damage would be reduced, and also that the overall damage income would be reduced to like 75%, and then that would be split. I don't think it's good the way it works currently. I think the way I just said it may be even a bit too powerful, but I think it does need changes, but we probably won't see changes to it. But if we're not going to see changes to Pain Split, I prefer it was never ever used again, because it is really, really bad. That's just my opinion anyway. Anyway, we'll move on to the active skill, and the active skill is identical to the second part of his rush. Taunt and minus 50% attack to up to 3 enemies for 1 turn. As you can see, up to 3 enemies get taunt and minus 50% attack for 1 turn on his rush, so it's identical. The thing about his active, which is insane, is it's an initial cooldown of 1. So you can use this the first turn, which makes me think that this guy is actually a really good attack team character. You're going to be able to control the enemy for 2 turns out of the first 3. It has an initial cooldown of 3 turns. So the first turn you can use this active skill. The second turn you'd attack. The third turn you'd attack and then get commanded to rush, and then again you taunt 3. 3 turns in the first 5, you're going to be taunting 3. If you want to just control, that's what you can do with Cole. You can have mass control. He will need an AP boost because he's got only 66 AP. He's going to need an AP boost from a leader and from his weapon to get his rush in 2 turns. He's going to have a lot of control. You can put damage dealers in that team, quite heavy damage dealers in that team, because you're going to have a lot of taunt in there. Now the specialist skill is Berserker. Whenever this character takes damage, they gain 20% attack until the end of their next turn, in addition to any existing attack increases, including prior activations of this skill, which is kind of weird. Because he's a tank, it's kind of weird. I guess it will just increase his base damage. His rush obviously would be increased by this. It's kind of weird. And it makes me think, again, he's more of an attack team character, even though I think Romanov, who has this as well, works quite well on defense, mainly because you kind of have to ignore him, because if he gets Berserker, ooh, he's dangerous. So now we'll move across to the weapon, and this is where things get a little juicy and a little interesting, and it's hard to know whether this was intentional or the side effect of what could happen with this weapon is really, really like game changing. And I'm saying that not to overplay it a little bit, and I'll explain why this could be so game changing. 30% defense base is really good for a tough weapon. Not many weapons have that. Lee's shotgun is, I think, was the museum collection. There's only free to play one. There was a promo weapon as well at one point. And I think Rosita's rifle within the 4-star weapon one has 25% defense. So there are a few, but they're just not very common. So it's good to have that on a base. The upgrade slot, the 15% HP is where you're going to change that, obviously. If you want to go for what I said before, where you get 3 taunts in the first 5 turns, you're going to have to get AP on attack. Now, you'd upgrade the defense to 40% and you'd keep this third slot, which is Disarm. When being attacked, a better chance to disarm an enemy for 2 turns. That's basically the specialist skill, but on defense. So he's almost got 2 specialist skills here. Now, where this blows my mind is, I realized this isn't going to be very useful on a defense team because a lot of people would probably just ignore this guy. But if he did get attacked, obviously that's where it's useful. It's not going to be mega useful on an attack team because, again, defense teams don't focus their attacks. When you come up against a ranged team where this guy's going to do trait damage, you know, alert characters aren't going to attack him. Tough characters aren't going to attack him. They might attack him, but they're not going to focus him. Now, when he taunts, they will. Obviously, that he can disarm on taunts, and that's because in the first 5 turns, he's going to do that 3 turns, so he can be disarming constantly. But where this gets good is you could take him against fast teams, where you would normally not ever take a tough character against fast teams. But fast teams will attack him if he's the only tough character, because I think the way basically the combat algorithm works is fast characters will try and do trait damage if they can, like 80% of the time. You know, that's generally how the combat system works. They don't always attack the tough character, but it does seem like they try to. Now, if that's the case, you're going to be disarming absolute defense consistently as well, because it's going to be, you know, unresistible. Disarm is unresistible, so they can't resist it. It's going to be like a 30-35% chance. And if they've got a full fast defense team, you're going to be disarming 2 of them every turn. You only need to disarm 1, and that's free AP gain. And against a fast team, that's really, really, really good, because fast has probably the best tier 3 special weapon in absolute defense. It cannot be resisted. It can only be stunned out, and obviously stun can get resisted. So you can just get locked into long battles because of those absolute defense. And this guy basically can remove that. So whether that was purposeful or it's just a side effect of how it's going to go, I don't know. But this guy could be a game changer, especially against Lydia, Tyrese, Jesus Shield. He can taunt Jesus Shield, turn 1, remove his absolute defense. No more absolute defense on Jesus Shield. Now, Jesus Shield is mad tanky, but you've just removed his absolute defense. You're not going to have any problems with bypassing shields if you've got focus characters then, because obviously you can gain AP freely. This guy could really change it up for attack teams. You'd have to have him as the only character on your attack team who is tough if you wanted to do what I said against fast characters. But that is really, really interesting. And because of that, I'd say it just propels him into like tier 1, basically. He is one of the best characters on an attack team in terms of control. You'd need damage dealers around him to take advantage of that control. But like I said, in the first 5 turns, for 3 of those turns, he's going to be taunting 3 characters. Those 3 characters each time can be disarmed for 2 turns. If you're attacking fast characters, they can be disarmed, and that means their absolute defense will be removed for 2 turns. And they will focus him because he's a tough character as well, generally. So this guy's really strong. I think he's really, really good. And if you're struggling against fast teams, in particular on their defense teams, this guy will change things for you. And it will make things go much faster. This is the first real speed up character that I've seen that's going to have a lot of control. Imagine disarming 5 characters in 1 turn, and that's basically what this guy can do against fast teams. There aren't massively prevalent fast defense teams yet, but I've seen a lot of those Lydias and Tyreses rocking around, generally with Magnas and Jesus and so on and so forth. So yeah, I think this character is really good. I probably am going to try and pull for him because I think he's good. Also, it will get me enough tokens to get another winter token pull, but that's something else. But do tell me what you think about this character, guys. Will you be pulling for him? Will he make the difference for you? Do you struggle against those fast defense teams? Because this guy will make the difference, I think. But that's in this video. Thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, guys, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.